In this video, I'll break down everything you need to know about AppleCare Plus in 2025. We'll answer questions like what's covered, what's not, how much it costs, how to file a claim if something goes wrong, and most importantly, is it worth it? And if you're new here and you're wondering who I am and if I'm even qualified to talk about AppleCare, my name's Ben. I work at a tech startup where we help people buy MacBooks, their more affordable subscription plan. So it's literally my job to know about AppleCare and Apple's legal terms. I actually read through Apple's documents and do a bunch of research so that I'm up to date. So let's jump in. So first up, AppleCare Plus is Apple's extended protection plan. All Apple devices come with a normal 1-year warranty and 90-day tech support. But AppleCare Plus lasts longer, it adds coverage for accidental damage, and gives you what they call priority access to repairs. Basically just means if you need something to be repaired, you are first in line. Also, AppleCare and AppleCare Plus are the same thing. People kind of use those terms interchangeably, and I will as well. Is AppleCare the same across all devices? No. It's not. AppleCare offers a similar structure across products, so you get accidental damage protection, an extended warranty, and tech support. But the pricing, service fees, and details vary depending on your device. And I'll throw up a chart here to help explain. So the iPhone, it's pretty standard, except you can add on optional theft and loss protection. That costs extra though. iPad is similar, but it also includes the Apple Pencil and Apple Keyboard coverage. And then with MacBooks, there is no theft protection, but some Mac models are eligible for on-site repairs, which means a technician comes to you to fix your laptop. That's the only Apple device that is the case for. And if you're wondering what people normally put AppleCare on, like what are the most common devices, it is iPhones at number 1, then MacBooks are the second most popular, and then iPads are going to be third. After that, there's a bit of a drop off. Some people do add it to things like their Apple Watch or AirPods or even Beats, but especially after that, it kind of gets to the point where it's not really worth it. Something like an Apple TV, you probably don't need AppleCare for. Now, one of the other biggest questions is how much does AppleCare cost? It varies by device, and since there's so many, I'm gonna throw up another chart on screen for you to look at. You can choose to buy for a fixed set of time, usually it's 2 or 3 years, or you can pay monthly if you purchase it within 60 days of buying your device and live in a country where monthly plans are supported, like the US. If you buy for a fixed set of time though, usually you'll get a slight discount compared to the monthly price. One of the things that people don't always know about AppleCare is that it doesn't make your repairs free. You are still going to have to pay a service fee in order to get your device repaired, kind of like an insurance deductible. Again, I'll throw up on screen here the service fees for specific devices. So for example, an iPhone screen repair, $29. Mac repairs, if it's light minor stuff, it'll be $99. Otherwise, it's $299 for the more expensive stuff. And then if you have theft or loss protection on your iPhone and it does get stolen, you'll have to pay $149 for that. So we've talked a bit about what's covered under AppleCare. It covers accidental damage. If you have theft or loss protection, it covers your phone getting stolen. But now let's talk about what is not covered. So some of the key things, first up, cosmetic damage. If you have like minor scratches or dents, they're not gonna cover that. Second, intentional damage or misuse. So you can't just like break your phone purposely and then be, oh, sorry, can I get a new one? No, it doesn't work. Third is theft or loss if you don't have the theft and loss plan. So just keep that in mind. If you didn't pay extra for that and your phone gets stolen, you will not be covered. You have to pay extra for that. Then next up is unauthorized mods or repairs. So if you are doing anything on your own, tweaking or changing a device in a way that Apple did not intend or want for it to be done, they're not gonna cover any sort of issues or damages that come as a result of that. And lastly, third-party accessories. So if you are adding other stuff to your device or doing weird things to change it up, adding other parts, they're not gonna cover any issues associated with that. Now let's talk about if something does happen, like you lose your phone or your dog bites your MacBook screen, which believe it or not does happen. I saw someone on Reddit the other day talking about this. If that happens, how do you file a claim? How do you actually make use of the AppleCare that you paid for? And the good news is it's actually pretty simple. So first up, you're gonna go to support.apple.com, or you can use the Apple Support app. You're gonna choose your device and the issue that you're having, and then you're gonna pick your service type, which is just how you're gonna actually give them your device. So you can do in-store, like if you are near an Apple store, you can walk in and give it to them. You can do mail-in, or you can do express replacement. And express replacement is a service where Apple will ship you a new device right away, and then when you get that new device, you ship back your old damaged device. So basically it reduces the downtime, so you're not waiting around to like send them something and then they have to fix it and then send it back. You just get a new device and then send them. Then you'll pay your deductible, whatever that fee is, and they'll tell you that. And then Apple will take care of the rest. And in most cases, they have pretty fast turnaround. Sometimes if you live close to an Apple store, you can actually just walk in and give it to them, but usually it is best to book an appointment slot online first. If you're wondering how long it lasts, most AppleCare plans last for 2 years. For Macs, it is usually 3. Then after that, most devices qualify for monthly renewal. So if you want to keep paying and keep your device covered, you can do that. But it doesn't auto-enroll you or anything like that, so just make sure as you're coming up on that 2 or 3 year time period after you started it, you are enrolling if you want to do that. And then if you extend with the monthly coverage, you'll be covered until you stop paying or you're no longer eligible for service. And you would typically become no longer eligible when your device gets really old. So typically that's about 5 to 7 years after the product is discontinued. Then Apple will stop servicing it, so you can't have AppleCare. Now let's talk about theft and loss coverage. I've mentioned this a few times, but I want to get into specifics. If you are worried about getting your phone stolen, or you just like having peace of mind, or maybe you travel a lot, you take it out and about, then this could be worth it for you. However, you should know it is only for iPhones, and there are some specific rules that you have to follow. So you must have Find My iPhone enabled at the time of loss. So it's best to just keep that on all the time. You're only allowed 2 incidents per 12 months. This is just to protect against fraud, so you don't have a bunch of people being like, oh, my phone was stolen, when really it wasn't. They will limit. And then the deductible is $149, so be prepared to pay that. But replacements do ship pretty quickly, usually about 1 to 2 business days, so you probably won't be waiting super long to get your new phone. Now, the big question that I always get is AppleCare worth it? It's hard to know exactly for you, but there are some specific questions that are always good to ask. So ask yourself, how much do you value peace of mind? Do you tend to damage your devices? Would a surprise $500 repair be painful? Do you travel or use your devices constantly? If you answered yes to some or most of those questions, then it probably is worth it for you. But if not, then you might be better off just not spending the money. If you want my personal opinion, I think it is worth it for the expensive devices that you tend to take out of your home a lot. So I'm thinking iPhones, MacBooks, and iPads. But again, if you're getting something like Apple TV or a desktop display that doesn't go out of your home ever, in my opinion, it's probably just not worth it. But for the big ones, I would recommend it. I feel like it's kind of like that saying about how no one fixes a leaky roof, because when it's not raining, then you don't notice the leak. There's no water coming through. When it is raining, you can't fix it. And so you're always kind of stuck in this limbo where you don't. And I feel like it's a similar thing where if you damage your device and you need to repair it, you don't have AppleCare, like it really, really sucks. But 99.9% of your time is spent with your devices in perfectly fine working condition with no damages. And so you don't really think about it. But for those few times it might happen, that's at least why I would recommend it. So that's it. That is the key information that you need to know about AppleCare. If you have any additional questions or specific things you want to ask about, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I try to respond to all of those and answer any questions that you might have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.